And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the finale of Knuckles Chaotix on the Sega Mega 32X. Today, ladies and gents, we're going to be finishing off the game. We're going to be clearing out the last zone and defeating the final boss. We are going to be stopping Eggman once and for all. Look, I say once and for all. We got another 50-odd games left to cover in this series. But you know what I mean, you get what I mean. We're gonna beat Eggman once and for all in this particular instance where he's doing bad, naughty things. I wonder if he's getting stockings. Coal in his stockings. Yeah, he's getting stockings for Christmas. Christmas at Eggman's house, what do you know? That would be an interesting animation. Or video. Or something. I don't know. Either Sega or animators that are fans of the franchise, get on that. It'd be interesting if you could figure something out with that. But anyway, Marina Madness Zone Act 4. Same thing as always. Go around collecting the buttons. The buttons will send you forward. Yada, yada, yada. You get the gist of what we gotta do for this particular one. And, yeah, we're on the final stretch of the game now, folks, so if you don't have all 6 Chaos Rings by this point, then, do your best to try and keep your rings, do your best to try and keep at them, because these are the last, well, this is technically the last attempt to get this the Chaos Ring. Because, on the boss acts where you fight Eggman, you can't get the Chaos Rings. You cannot grab those on the boss acts because obviously there's boss battles, there's no gold post, there's no special ring to jump into. So, yeah, there's that. So, just make sure that you get all 6 Chaos Rings by this point. That's all I'm really saying. Hell, you could be lucky, you could get them like I did way early in the playthrough. Which, is fun. I'm actually surprised I got the Chaos Rings as early as I did, because I'm normally really bad at getting the Chaos Rings in this game. They are easy to get. I mean, it's really easy to keep hold of your rings. It's really easy to do the special zones, excluding like maybe the last one, where it's a little bit tricky with the platforming. But you know, it's fairly simple to get the Chaos Rings in this, folks. It's not like in Sonic the Hedgehog 1 where the Chaos Emeralds are basically luck-based. Or Sonic the Hedgehog 2, where you need to be damn near a god at special zones in order to get them. Chaos Emerald 7, I'm looking at you. And Chaos Emerald 4, I'm looking at you. I love Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but the special zones are awkward as hell. They're very difficult. I've already tackled that game before in an LP, however. Although I may tackle that again. I may redo that, some of my earlier LPs in like Sonic 1, Sonic 2 with like the more recent re-releases at some point. By more recent, I mean the Taxman re-releases, because there's quite a few extra bonus features in those, and I don't know, maybe. It's an idea going through my head. Like once I'm done with the Sonic franchise, and excluding maybe modern games that come out after I'm done with these LPs, I may go back to the old classics. I may go back to my original Sonic LPs to buff them up, because I was recently re-watching them, and I'm not too fond of the results. I don't know. You never realize how much you improve on Let's Playing until you go back and look at your older stuff. Then you sit back and you're just like, huh, wow, I'm much better now. But I digress. Time to get Vector, and it's time to take care of Marina Madness, the final act, and the final boss. Actually, I quite like the boss fight of Marina Madness coming up, just because it's probably the only thing I would argue it could not probably be done on the Mega Drive. Like, although this game has a lot of neat graphical effects that probably aren't possible on the Mega Drive alone, it doesn't seem that way. Really, with the exception like the bonus stages where it's all 3D polygonal. This boss fight coming up has a graphical effect that I would argue is not possible on the Mega Drive. It could be possible on the Mega Drive because, you know, there are some programming wizards out there, but, you know, out of all the games I've seen, I've never seen anything quite as advanced on the Mega Drive, and trust me, I've played my fair share of Mega Drive games. I grew up playing the game, you know, playing the console. And it took me a few years to go from the Mega Drive to the PlayStation and whatnot. You know, I stayed in the Mega Drive generation for a lot longer than most people. But I digress. I got nothing else to say. This zone, we've seen everything about this zone now. It's push the button, you know, same gist. Move on the ship, whoop-de-doo. That's all there is to it. But yeah, I have to say as well, I do kind of like the Chaotix crew, you know, I've mentioned that I like them in the modern iterations, but the only one I really like personality and voice-wise out of the modern versions of the Chaotix is Vector. I love Vector in the modern games. He's just the really goofy voice, he's just, I don't know, he's an interesting character, he's just the leader of the bunch, you know him well. He doesn't have coconut guns, unfortunately. But if he does shoot you with his bubblegum, it's gonna hurt. Now, I like Vector. Vector's a good character. He's one of my favourites, especially his voice, which I'm not doing an impression of again for the sake of my throat not bleeding, and for your ears not bleeding. But, I don't know, it's like I said with, I don't like Espio's modern interpretation, because he just seems boring. You know, he just seems bored. It's like, the voice actor for Espio didn't know what to do with him. I think modern Espio, like at the time of the recording now, is voiced by Troy Baker. He's only really done one thing, which is Sonic Generations, so I can't speak much about current Espio, but, you know, the Espio we're going to see a lot of during Shadow the Hedgehog, the Espio we see during Sonic Heroes, I'm not too fond of him. Just because it just seems, you know, it just seems boring. It's like a Shadow the Hedgehog without the edginess or without the entertainment factor. I don't know. I'm not fond of Espio, that's what I'm getting at, really, folks. And Charmy is the worst thing on the earth. I despise Charmy Bee. But I digress. I love this music. It's so relaxing. Like, seriously, I cannot stress enough. You know, if you people want, well, I advise you just go on YouTube. You don't even need to play this game for this. Just go on YouTube and look up the soundtrack of this game. Look up some of the tunes, because some of the tunes are actually really well done. I love the soundtrack of this. It's not my favorite Sonic soundtrack. Like, that's definitely going to Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure is the best soundtrack in the entire franchise. But it's still a very good track, you know, it's very good music, and I like it, it's very relaxing. But now it's time, thank God for that, I was running out of rambling, for the final normal encounter with Eggman himself. And what's that? It's a thing. Yes, polygons, ladies and gentlemen, polygons. We are fighting Eggman in his majestic polygon machine. And what's the deal with this thing? Well, while he's encased in the polygon, you can't actually do any damage to him. So what I advise doing is just wait until he becomes available, then start chucking Vector or whoever partner you have at him, and just rinse and repeat from there. Also, one thing I really brought up to attention is the music, the boss fight music, in fact. All of the bosses have their own unique soundtracks, so it's something a little bit interesting. It's something you don't really see much in most games. Each boss have their own unique soundtrack, at least I've noticed anyway. A lot of these classic games tend to have like one boss fight universally. But yeah, all the bosses have their own unique soundtracks, and this boss is very easy. Just avoid the polygonal parts, boop him, easy peasy lemon squeezy, and that's that, done and dusted. What can I say? Marina Madness is now complete. Which means every zone in this game is now complete, folks. It's time to go to the final battle. Thank you, God. Something new to talk about. Oh my Jesus. But just before you go to the final battle, everything will resume as always. You will be sent into the main area as, you know, like this. And you will be sent to the combi catcher as usual. Now for the final boss, I am going to be going with Mighty and Knuckles. Knuckles because, well, it's his game. You've got to have Knuckles in the final boss. And Mighty because he's basically Sonic the Hedgehog. Although I prefer the design of Mighty the Armadillo. I want Mighty to return. I think it would be interesting if they bring back Mighty the Armadillo as just this guy who just journeys and travels. Like, make a 2D Sonic game where you have modern, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog with homing attack and bring back Mighty with the instant shield. That'd be awesome. I digress. Anyway, Metal Sonic. Now, Metal Sonic is the boss fight by here, and we need to make use of the random roulette machine in order to damage Metal Sonic. And what you really want to do is just time the button presses. That's all this boss fight is. As you can tell, each number will be highlighted on the bottom of the screen. When the light goes on to the X symbol, the cross, then you will need to boop the bumper. That will cause the thing to land on the cross. If it lands on the cross, one of the numbers will explode and Metal Sonic will do damage. However, if the light lands on another number that isn't the cross, he will do a number of attacks depending on what number you attacked. For example, number 3 shot the missiles. Number 4, I think, shoots out this thing that tries to crush you. It's a very easy boss fight, but I like it. I like it. It's a neat idea. It's definitely different from. It's different from what you'd expect from a final boss. This isn't the ultimate final boss, though. There is another boss fight coming. This guy's a multi-tiered phase. You know, he's a multi-phase boss battle. Although I have to say it does get a little bit tricky, especially on this final phase, because I always get confused whether the blue is the highlighted sequence or the grey part is highlighted. Obviously the grey part's not meant to be the highlighted part, but I get confused by it, so it freaks me out. But with that, no! We defeated Metal Sonic once again. You'd think he would give up. But no, Metal Sonic, as we all find out later in the series, never really gives up. He always comes back. Eventually. But with that, Eggman has the 7th Chaos Ring, so Metal Sonic decides to jump on in, joins Eggman. And now it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the most terrifying boss in Sonic history. This is Metal Sonic High. This is Metal Sonic's final form. This is the most challenging... Sorry, did I say challenging? No, this is easy. This is pathetically easy. All you need to do is just jump into the middle of Metal Sonic's body to inflict damage onto him, chuck Knuckles at him, jump into him yourself, whatever you want. And as you defeat him more and more, parts of his body will start breaking off. And after the first phase, he'll start going in the background and he'll try and slam on the ground. When he slams his hand on the ground, basically spin dash or jump into his hand to damage it, and just rinse and repeat until his arm falls off yet again. And don't get me wrong, I love this boss fight, but Jesus Christ is Metal Sonic absolutely terrifying in this form. This form is called Metal Sonic High, for people wondering, and Jesus! You know, part of me thinks this is the inspiration of the final boss for Sonic Heroes, although Sonic Heroes' final boss is nowhere near as, it's nowhere near as terrifying. This is just amazingly terrifying and just ridiculous. But just break off his arm, and then he goes to the final phase of the boss battle where he's going to shoot his giant laser cannon at you. Now, as long as you're on the floor, the laser cannon will never touch you. So go to the far right of the screen, which will bait Metal Sonic to go near you, and then spin dash him in his chest, and eventually he will go down. It's an easy boss battle, but absolutely amazing. I do love this fight. It's definitely climactic, and I just really wish it had more challenge. Much like the rest of the game, it needs to be more challenging, goddammit. It's a final fight, it's a final boss, it's the end game, but no. It's probably one of the easiest final bosses in all of Sonic, I have to be honest. As terrifying as the thing is. But with that final hit, Metal Sonic High is defeated, Eggman is defeated, and we have beat the game. And what's our special reward for collecting all 6 Chaos Rings? Cool! Seriously, that's all we get. That's the reward. That's the ending for beating the game with 7 Chaos Rings. It's a crap ending. But it's sort of better than the Metal Sonic ending where he destroys the entire universe. Well, entire world. Yeah, I kid you not, that's the normal ending. In the normal ending, Metal Sonic destroys the world. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Knuckles Chaotix on the Sega 32X. It's an okay game. It's pretty boring for the most part. The level design is really bland. The music is brilliant, the graphics are nice, and I recommend people to try it out. I recommend people to give it a crack, because this is really one of those love the game or hate the game sort of deals. Or in the case of me, being indifferent about the game. Because the level design, while bland, it has a couple of unique ideas chucked in. I honestly think the game should have been shorter. If the game was shorter, this would have been a very very fine, compact Sonic game for people to pick up and play. But because it's not a short game, because it's quite lengthy, it's a little bit, you know, frustrating for the most part. And, you know, it's still enjoyable. You know, it has its moments of enjoyment. It's not the worst game in the world. It's just very boring. But with that, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And that is it for this LP, so I shall now catch you all next time in my next LP, which I do believe is Tails Sky Patrol. If it's not Tails Sky Patrol, I'll chuck the proper LP name on the screen right now, because I can't actually remember. But yeah, I think it's Tails Sky Patrol next, so thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people, and join Sonic & Co. in the credit sequence as I bid you all adieu. Thanks for watching, see you after. Bye!